niña bebe, el niño come. El niño bebe.
That just gives you a little sense of how it works. If you're interested in seeing Rosetta Stone, you can go on their website and they have a wonderful demonstration where you can try out the classes. And I could tell you a good anecdote about that, but don't have the time right now. Okay, so we notice on the schedule that Shoshana is taking French and I'm showing you Spanish. How does she decide what she's going to take? We've said that we individualize it and customize it for each student. How does this happen? A very important component of our program is coaching. Coaching provides a supportive culture. Each student has a team of coaches and mentors. There's an on-site coach who they meet with regularly, who goes over everything in their portal and makes sure that everything's on track. And if everything isn't on track, make sure that it gets back on track in a very quick way. In addition, the student has coaches who are outside of the Learning Center as well, people in the community who help the student develop his or her particular interests. For example, if somebody is interested in writing, they might have somebody on their coaching team who is a writer or an English professor or an editor who can then help guide that student to tell them what classes they should take, what internships they can do, what they can do to develop that passion, both for their own fulfillment and also so they have something to tell colleges. In addition, we have every year in our schedule a two-week mini-mester in which they can either really delve into something in terms of study in a very deep way, or they can do an internship for a couple of weeks, or they can do a Chesed project. And each of these, before they go on their two-week mini-master, and as part of it, it has a study component. So they're going to learn a bit of Jewish text. And then when they come back, they're going to apply everything that they've learned in the course of their 2 weeks and their learning, and they're going to present it to the school so that everybody can gain from that experience. Where were we? Okay, so she just did French. Now she's still in the common room, and she's going to spend some time working on history. Maybe she has a paper to write. And then she's going to go to her Talmud class, and Peter's going to just tell us a little bit about the Jewish study program.
Okay. Here with the disturbing wires. Hi, my name is Peter Gelman, and besides having the privilege of being Lauren's husband, I'm one of the co-founders and a trustee of the Pre-Collegiate Learning Center. Okay. The animating idea behind the Pre-Collegiate Learning Center, and I would argue good education, is the love of Torah, that we're dedicated to Jewish learning and inspired by the love of Torah. We're focused on cultivating a place where midot are taken seriously and valued and celebrated, where ideas like kavod habriot and gemivut chasadim become an everyday reality. We're looking to create a warm community, a place that we hope, especially on the Jewish studies side, will even approach in its ideal form a camp-like atmosphere for our students. And we've put together and we are putting together a carefully designed 4-year sequence of study in Jewish studies. And the overriding purpose here is for students to be able to live a Jewishly rich life, and in order to do that, to be able during these years in high school to acquire the kinds of skills that they need to be able to engage Jewish texts, all kinds of Jewish texts, so that they'll be able to pursue Jewish learning over the course of their lives, to become lifetime Jewish learners. Our core program is really based around 4 subjects each year. 2 Tanakh, 2 Rabbinics, Chumash, Navim, Ketuvim, Talmud, and Halakha. Because we're looking to customize things, and because in our version of the Learning Center we're trying to reach out to both Orthodox and yeshiva students and conservative and community day school students, and even people who've had limited day school or full day education opportunities until now, we have a number of different tracks, and these tracks, again, are really a synonym for creating a plan for the cohort of students that we have. And so there's a preparatory track for students who've had a limited exposure to a full-day Jewish education before high school. We have two advanced tracks, one that is more attuned to students and families who prefer a community or Schechter style of Judaic studies, one for a more yeshiva Orthodox orientation. And then finally we have what we call an enhanced, we can call it a track, but it's an enhanced level. And the idea there is that as students begin to identify areas in which they are particularly passionate and want to make things, want to concentrate a little bit more, we want to make, again, room for that to happen. And so, for example, if there are a couple of students who are particularly passionate about the study of Gemara, and we can set up an opportunity, and this is where some of the distance learning comes in, if we can set up an opportunity with a tremendous Gemara scholar who happens to live in Israel and is able to teach them by way of a shiur, and we can combine that with their chavruta learning within the Beit Midrash and the facilitated learning they'll receive there. We want to be able to do that. And it goes for things like Jewish history, Jewish art, architecture, whatever the interests of a student might be, we're going to think about that and say, how can we make that happen? How can we make that be a reality? But I really wanted to emphasize that the core structure is intended to be the first word, not the last. And the idea here is that through planning and encouraging students to have discussions, we hope that the Jewish Studies program will become quite diverse over time and responsive. We are really looking to attract, when it comes to the teachers on the Jewish Studies side, people who are really agile in the way that they teach and the way that they think about teaching, and who really do and are committed to the idea that the students' curiosities are the origin of a really sound educational plan for them. So I'll sit down again now. Thank you.
Just a few sort of notes at the end. I just want to make very clear that the Pre-Collegiate Learning Center is a place. We're not talking about distance learning. We're talking about a place with classrooms and labs and a gym and an auditorium, everything that you would expect. It's all there, and the kids are there all day. Similar with staffing. The staffing looks a lot like any regular high school, except that some of the staff will be there part-time. And replicability. We are absolutely dedicated to helping other people do something like this. Avikai is supporting us, which is very wonderful, and I think that that's why they're doing it, because we see this as the wave of the future, and we want to help everybody get to the future so that we can really support students in the best way that we can. And that's the end of it. Does anybody have questions? Yes.
You talk about the Pre-Collegiate Learning Center being a place, but isn't it a community? I mean, what concerns me is a tremendous amount of individualization and no conversation other than the Beit Midrash of interaction among students.
Okay, then I really didn't put it right. I think there's actually more interaction at our learning center than there is at a regular high school, because the kids are not sitting in seats watching a teacher all day. They're working together on projects. In addition, we have facilitators, for lack of a better word, who are there, and they're helping the students, and we see them sort of in the role of camp counselors, and the community aspect is the most important. So there's a lot of group activity throughout the learning center and in small groups. And I mean, truthfully, the students are in rooms, in groups of like 30 kids, not watching a teacher, but interacting together for a large part of the day.
Yeah, can I just say, and there are a lot of conventional classes, the English, the history, the Jewish studies classes that are that correspond to the Beit Midrash work are all in-class experiences.
And they're interacting there too.
Right, and the science labs are group class experiences, as are the conversational components of the foreign language instruction. So it's really a blend. It would be inaccurate to suggest that it's somehow
Kids are isolated.
totally isolated. Yeah, I don't think that would be what we're trying to get across.
Yes.